we're going to go ahead and go over the Keep It Simple online version. I'll go ahead and put everybody on mute right now, so if anybody has any questions at the end, we'll go ahead and go through all those questions and all that good stuff. If you want, you can go ahead and type in the chat function as well. If you are, in fact, needing something, or if you can't hear me or can't see something, I have my screen shared, and you guys should be seeing the Keep It Simple online version. So I'll go ahead and start. I see a couple of people who were in here earlier today when I did the desktop version. So just to touch again, this is pretty much the same formation of the program. As far as look and everything goes, the only thing, of course, is going to be that the business version is available in the desktop version and not available here. So just like the other program, I'll go ahead and start off from the top. From the right-hand side, we have our support with useful links and any of the IRS links that are needed. Under Tools, we have our Quick Estimator, Bank Product Estimator, and a couple other tidbits for like married filing joint and separate comparison, financial calculator, the depreciation schedule and summary, and the reject codes as well. And the setup information, there's prepare info and firm. I'll just go ahead and click on prepare info quickly to touch on. If you haven't set up your preparers who are going to be using the program for this year, please let us know, and we'll be more than happy to assist you creating new preparers. We can go ahead and, when you click on this, I'll go ahead and show the edit link. Here's our prepare information. And then I just want to touch on the bottom, the user options. So at the top, you'll see we have a couple, at the bottom, you'll see we have a couple different options. These are all to allow the user to, if you want them to delete client records and firm records, modify any invoice pricing, file an amendment, print tax forms, disable view, if you want to disable or view the print form so they can't print, and then also email a tax return. Once you hit save and continue on any of these, it'll take us to the next screen. After that will be edit the privileges. And this is where you'll actually take them to create a login, what they're going to be using from their program. You can also change their password here. And I never say erase the account unless really needed, but you can also disable the account down here if that person's no longer working for you. Down here at the bottom, we see a user type. We just have registered tax preparer marked now, but you can also have data entry and supervised preparer. If they're an enrolled agent or CPA attorney, all that information can be marked here. At the bottom is actually privileges. So if you scroll to the top, client letters, forms, e-file, bank, and setup, all that information is here at the top. And it's just basically, do you want them to have access to that in particular? So we'll go ahead and mark this one. We'll save and continue. And it'll bring us back here. If you need to add any more preparers, you simply select the Create New Preparer User button. Under Setup, we'll go back into the firm info. Of course, this is just any information about the office that's going to fill out on each individual return. I like to go in Preparer Settings with you guys, and these are all, basically, if you want something to happen within the program that's selected here, you can either set it for all your preparers or you can set it for individual ones. Right now, we do have an interview method input. If you want either newer preparers to use this, or if you feel like the interview method is working better for you, you can set it as a default every time you open a return right here at the bottom. Back under Setup, we're going to go into our Watermark Settings. And this just basically shows, I'm going to make it into our client copy. Preview return only, do not file. I'll do Save Changes. And if we click Preview here, it actually will bring up a PDF of what it looks like here. So that way they can never file this to the IRS if you give them a copy of it. The next portion is email configuration. If you want to email your return Yes, email your return through the program. You can do that, and this is where you can select and change all that info here. Any of the printer preferences, if you want to include certain things, or if you always want to print out a client copy with a watermark or prepare a copy with a watermark, you can go ahead and select those in here. If you always want to include your bank documents automatically, or the mobile app instructions, you can select those here. It'll show you that it's successfully updated here at the top. If we go back into setup, we also have our preparer preferences, which basically just marks when you look up a return what you want to have open. We'll do filing status. I'll go ahead and mark our bank status, and let's do. You can also set to all preparers if you want to push that to everyone, and it'll do that for us. The account info, and this is just basically for you. If you want to come in here and reset your password or something like that, you can come in here and do that. We'll touch on the pricing because you definitely want to do this at the beginning of the season and set that up now. So under the pricing options, we have 4 separate ways of setting these up. We can do our federal, our state. We can set our discounts or additional charges. I'll go through the first one to set our federal. We'll do save and continue. And there's 3 different ways of setting up the federal charges. You can do a fixed rate for all returns. You can set them by form or manually after every return. I'm going to go ahead and show you the fixed rate. Once we go to the next screen, you can see it's just a course fixed rate of anything that you want there. We'll go back in, and we'll do set price per form. Save and continue here, and you can actually see here the main forms. And if you highlight over the question mark, it shows you the quick tips of which forms they are. Schedules. Any forms that start with 1, so forth and so on. Any others. Worksheets. And then all forms. You can actually go to each individual one, hit set price, and it'll actually generate every single form that is inside of the program for you to go in and make your changes. I'm just going to go ahead and hit back on this. We'll just save and continue. I'm going to go down here. The state is just the same as the federal. I'm going to drop down to discount, hit save and continue. And let's say you're doing some sort of, we'll do a discount for federal. And the description, let's say you're doing a flyer. And it's $10. We'll do add. Now you see we have a discount in here. We'll complete it. And the other part I want to do is additional charge. So let's say this is extra time on the return. You can charge those in maybe $20 increments. You add that and complete. And we're done with our pricing stuff in the return so far, or in the program so far. Also, you have your invoice information. This just shows what number prefix you want to use. The start of the invoice, the office location if you want, and the checkmark boxes at the bottom are very helpful. This one says check here if you like to treat all bank payment as invoice until it's fully paid. So you won't see that particular client who's done a bank product until the disbursement is complete. They won't show as fully paid so that you know that you've been paid for that particular one. You always want to make sure of that in case they're not funded, so you can figure out why they can get funded and you can get paid. And then check here to show detailed fee disclosure for bank products. You can select that as well. I'm going to do Save Changes, and that takes care of our invoice. Moving over from setup to forms, this is just, of course, that all the forms that the federal, state, and the tax table, and the state tax table, you can print those out and have those for yourself. Our reports, anything standard, custom, or the office revenue reports are listed there. All your bank information, bank products, direct deposit, and cash card, as well as your bank enrollments located here. Any of your printed checks and non-printed checks, and then a bank versus non-bank comparison. To the left, we have letters. Of course, that includes the client letters, mailing labels, and organizer. And you also have settings to those as well if you want to make changes or edit. The scheduler, whenever we open the program, there's an appointment section. You can actually set a scheduler and your employees' hours within the program to then make better appointments for your clients. When they come in, you can actually have a list and show everything there for you. The e-file tab, excuse me, the e-file tab located here at the top left. We have a queue for transmit, get e-file statuses, get extension statuses, get state extension, bank, and as well as a list here for anybody who has multiple preparers. Once you finish a return and it's complete, you can mark it as completed and reviewed as the business owner, and you can send that return off. If you have multiple preparers and you want them to complete the return, but yourself review it, you can use this list to where they'll go through the entire return but make sure everything that's reviewed is done by you. The next tab, of course, is our Client Manager, and this holds everything for our 1040 tax returns. The new return function is listed first, manage what we have, and then down below are basically lists. Here's file prior to your tax return if you want to go ahead and do that. Amend a return, paper file, mark return as paper file, a completed list and an incomplete, as well as a W-7 and I-10 customer list to better keep track of those. I'm going to go ahead and click on Office Manager, which is going to take us right to the first screen. The first screen basically just shows us all what's going on in the filing center, as well as what's going on in the office. Excuse me. At the bottom left, you'll see we have our bank file summary. This just shows any of the bank information that's gone through. All of the information is located here. Here's our queued, accepted, and transmitted list, as well as the rejected list. Our state stuff is on the right-hand side here, and our federal on the left. Any of our scheduled appointments will be located here, as I was mentioning earlier, through the scheduler. And then our message board. Of course, the first thing listed here is going to be we're now open for electronic filing. So once you do returns and invoice and wrap them up, you can send them off to us. This, of course, is asking me, because I'm not enrolled with the bank, to enroll with one. And then it's just showing us that the direct input mode is available in the online version as well. Saying that, I'm going to go ahead and open up a new return. We'll go to Client Manager here. We'll click on New Return. If you want, you can always apply for a W-7 listed here. This will actually mark this out to where you can just type in, where you don't have to actually type in anything. It'll keep track of those clients for you. Below at the bottom, you'll see that we can set our specific forms, a 1040, an amendment, a non-resident, and a self-employed tax return. I'm going to go ahead and do Save and Continue. And as you notice, what comes up is going to be the 1040 tax return. There's a couple different parts that I'll mention. I'm going to go ahead and fill out this first screen, which is the personal information. If there is an identity protection pin, you want to be sure to put that here. If you get rejected and it comes back this spot, will more than likely be highlighted for you. The next portion here is, of course, if they're disabled, blind, or anything in between, is located at this spot. And I know a question I'm getting, of course, this year is going to be about the ACA, the Affordable Care Act. Right here above it, there's always this best practices. And what this does is actually give you the verbatim, the return prepare best practices, so that you can, better figure out what it is this client needs in particular. And so you can either choose to print this out once and use it as a handy guide, or you can print it out individually. Just depends on what you need. So it's going to ask, did the primary taxpayer have minimum essential coverage for all 12 months? And then there's a what's this? And we'll actually take you to another spot that gives you the marketplace information, what it looks like, what the verbatim is, the types of minimum essential coverage, all that information is here. So once again, if you want to print that out, please do, and have that for your records. We're going to mark this as yes. Oh, I'm sorry, we're going to go ahead and mark this as no. They didn't have it at all throughout the year. We'll mark the marketplace as no as well. You'll notice our next section is the filing status. Of course, it's single. We have nothing below. I'm going to change this just for training purposes. When we go to married filing joint, you'll notice now the spouse's information pops up, as well as the legally recognized same-sex marriage checkmark box. I'm going to go ahead and change it to head of household. Now that you see, here are some questions. If they fit the return, you apply them. If not, they just have to make sure that they have a dependent. For training purposes, I'm just going to have it all single. Once we fill out the zip code, the state and city fills out automatically. We're going to fill out a phone number. If you're doing a bank product, the bank does require an alternative contact number as well. If you are also doing a direct deposit for this customer, the information here for your bank is entered or is available for you as well. On every screen, we're going to go ahead and hit save. And you'll notice that our federal tax summary, our refund meter on the left-hand side over here, is going to automatically change. Just based upon what information that we input into the program, it already sees, there's our 95 tax credit that he has to pay. Already, he already knows. We already know. So once we finish the screen, I just want to share the information about. So at the top, we have a verify, complete, override, and to view, print, or return. On the right-hand side, here's an Irs Search and some great useful links. As you change throughout the return, these useful links will change as well with you. This one shows you the identity protection PIN info, what's my filing status, any type of information that's going to apply to that particular area will be in useful links on the right-hand side over here. Below that, on the right-hand side, we also have our forms. These are all PDFs. What you can do is, when it also makes a determination that it's a 1040 easy, but you can also click on these, and what comes up is a PDF of that physical form. So your customers can see the shared responsibility payment form and how you were able to come to the determination that they owe $95 for that penalty. All the info is there available for you on the right-hand side. So right now it has a 1040 voucher because he owes. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the left side. So on here we have our federal tax summary, also known as the refund meter, located on the left. At the top we have our form search as well as our form tree. In all forms you'll see that every form that we support is located here. And our filed forms actually shows what we've been doing. So right now we've only have a page 1 and a page 2 of our 1040. So let's say we need to add something. Up here at the top in our search feature, we just simply type, let's say you wanted to add to Schedule C, you type in the word C, and the Schedule C information pops up. If we want to do a 1099, we do that as well, and it pops up. And I'm going to go ahead and add a dependent. Here's our dependent information, or at the top you can also click on dependent info located under the personal info. Now this program is summary driven, so all the information will appear in a summary, dependent summary screen. We're going to click on Add New here at the top, and we're just going to go ahead and enter in our child. And then you'll see everything that's listed here below is going to be the typical information. They're going to claim as a dependent. They're eligible for child tax credit. They're a U.S. citizen. Yes, more than 6 months of the year. 12 months has been answered. And they claim this qualifying child for EIC. So all the information is already placed in there for you, ready to go. If you have anything else that is attributed to this account, to this child, like a full-time student or disability, you can mark those here. Nice part about this program as well is inside here you can also mark in the 2441 information so it can fill out later for you already. This gives you a link to it, and then this is another link for some student info that you can have. So we'll do they do have a Social Security number. EIC is correct. They cannot claim. Did they live with you in the United States for more than 2014? For the better half of 2014, you answer yes. And then, of course, the ACA questions will come in here for each new dependent. We'll go ahead and mark yes. Let's say they had some sort of government, like Medicaid or something like that. We'll mark it yes. No, we didn't mark it from the marketplace. And no, they do not have to file their own tax return. So I'll go ahead and hit save. Now you see our son's in there. Since he is marked properly, we'll go ahead and add a W-2 to this return just to get some income in here. Of course, it's summary based, so you see our totals at the bottom, and then our add new plus sign here. At the top, you'll see who does this W-2 belong to. It'll have P or S, meaning the primary or the spouse. Okay, we'll go ahead and fill this out. Okay, once our information is filled out, we'll scroll down to the bottom and hit save. You'll notice on the left-hand side under our federal tax summary that our refund meter now changes. So everything is listed down in there just as you like. So once we're done with our W-2, if this is pretty much the end of your return, you got your dependent information, you have your income, all the personal info's there. The next thing that we're going to do is go ahead and verify at the top left. Oh, one more thing real quick. Apologize. I wanted to show you guys. If you're more comfortable working on the 1040 itself, straight from that page, you can click on the 1040 here. And then it follows the list of the 1040 itself all the way down. And the nice part, on the left-hand side, you can see all related forms or whatever form is able to be reported to that specific line located in blue to the left of the box. I'll click on this line 7, all related forms, and you'll actually see each one of these links is a form that can be reported back to line 7. Every one of those. One thing that I'd like to show you before we finish this one is actually a 1099 miscellaneous. I'm going to go ahead and add new. And I'll show you down here at the bottom, you see where it wants to put all the information. So in line 7, we'll go ahead and just type in 5,000. And on line 7, if we had a schedule or if we want to drop them to specific lines like 7 or 21, we can actually put them from here. And you can actually pick from a list that'll show your, if you had a Schedule C in here, you can use that Schedule C line. I'll go ahead and cancel this because I want to delete this one out. But I just wanted you guys to see that you can actually, with one 1099, if it's going to different spots, you can actually push each line to a different spot. I'll go ahead and cancel that. And then we'll go ahead and verify. So now it's going to tell us that we need our 8867. We have to answer our due diligence questions. And then the 8965, which is the Affordable Health Care Act. So we're going to go over to the 8867. And we're going to answer our questions. We'll go down here at the bottom. And this is for you. It's not going to be e-filed, but it's for your records. You can actually type in a quick blip. And also, to generate this worksheet for the taxpayer signature, you can include that in there as well so that you make sure that it was truthful. So I'm going to go ahead and do save. Oops, did not apply. Okay. We'll do save again. Awesome. We'll go verify one more time just because I want you to see. Now it shows you, there we go. Now it shows us that the 8965, we had share responsibility payment. It will be waived if they have an exemption certificate. So we're going to jump to the 8965. And healthcare coverage. And you can simply type that here. Now at the bottom you'll notice what their AGI is, their adjusted grid income, all that information is located here. Now the program makes the auto determination that this gentleman made too much money, so their threshold will not be able to be counted. In other words, at the top there's 3 different sections. So the first section is if your client has brought you an exemption certificate number. I'm going to go ahead and click Add New here. And bear with me one sec. And then here you'll see which recipient. So of course it shows our taxpayer. Check here that if you do not provide an SSN to the marketplace for this individual, which they could have. And also if they don't have an exemption certificate number and they know that they're getting one, you can also mark this as pending. But I would use this very loosely, if you will. Just let people know that, hey, if you think you're getting one, I can put this as pending. If not, they may risk getting charged a fine or something next year. It's just unknown right now. But they could very well get penalized next year if they don't have a certificate. And then, of course, this one, full coverage, just highlights those check mark boxes. Go ahead and cancel this. The second part, part 2, makes the auto determination. Like if we were to hit yes here, it would actually tell us no because of what the income is. So it shows that the threshold, your gross income is $30,000. The threshold is just $10,150. So it won't let us do that because it's not below. Part 3, the coverage exemption for individuals claimed in your return. This is for any of the dependents. If they have a specific exemption type, they will more than likely know it, and it'll be on, of course, the 8965. It'll populate there. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save on this. just because we know in specific that no one, that they will pay the penalty. And now the last thing for us is to enter the taxpayer PIN information, and that's going to be on the 8879. You can auto-generate the taxpayer PIN entered by the ERO, and if you're doing a paper file, this checkmark box will be saved, or the checkmark box, I'm sorry, will be selected. And now everything's good to go. You see all of our forms on the right-hand side. We'll go ahead and verify one more time to show you that no errors have been found. We'll go ahead and complete this. And here is our completion screen. A couple questions listed on here. Are you ready to mark the return as complete? We're going to go ahead and mark yes. For anyone who has preparers or employees who are just doing data entry and you're checking the return, you're going to have them mark yes at the top and leave this review as no. Then we'll do file this return as electronic since it's already marked. And we're going to do save and close. Oh, I'm sorry, save and redirect to manage returns. And this is going to lead us back to our client. So right here, we're going to go ahead and go over the client list. So this will actually take us back out to get ready to send the return off. So the return goes in 3 basic steps. First one being create the return. Second, complete the return. And then most importantly, how you're getting paid for the return. Down here at the bottom left is your payment details. We are having a different rollover program. It looks a little different. I know some folks who have used the online version have a different view, and that one's getting built in before the tax season, and we're just beta testing it right now. Everything is the same, it just looks a little different. Under payment details, you'll see a tab up here in the new version, or in this older version, you'll see it down here at the left. And we can actually click on client payment. And this will take us to our client payment details itself. You'll see we have no invoices, so we're going to go ahead and add a new. Now you'll notice the determination of the charges comes back to $270. You can modify your charges here. Here's our flyer that we created earlier. But also here's our extra time. So let's say they brought in the flyer, but we took extra time on their return. So now you'll notice here's the discount and here's the additional charge. Everything's located there, and then it changes out the amount to be paid. At the very bottom, you'll see here's our payment option. So of course there's 2 separate ones, a non-banking, which means they're going to pay you up front, or the banking, which is Santa Barbara Refund Advantage. You'll send the return to the bank, and then you'll get your fees deposited as soon as the return gets funded. So I don't have a bank installed on mine or for my particular program, so I'm going to go through the non-banking. Just to touch real quick on the banking information, you'll click on banking. Like I said, you'll have to have an alternative phone number within the 1040, otherwise you have to go in there and fill that out. And then the information after that is very typical. You put in the license info, the charges come up, and it shows you the breakdown of everything after that. Once you do that, you can submit the return. It's just like what I'm about to show you, just like an extra screen, if you will. So I'm going to keep non-banking selected and click Continue. There's our amount to be paid. So we have a couple different options. We can make the payment now or do an invoice only. Then they show us how are they paying, by cash, check, money order, credit card. I'm going to leave it as cash. I'm going to make the payment now. I'm going to mark this invoice as completed because they're done. They're good to go. They paid me cash. And then the most important part, do you want to e-file this return now? You can do select yes. It'll send right after we do save and continue. Or if you select no, it'll simply put it in the queue for you. I'm going to go ahead and do save and continue. Our balance due is 0. He's paid us. Everything's good to go. So when we go back to e-file and queue for transmit, here's the return we just completed because it's ready to go, but it hasn't been sent yet. You can actually click on the view e-file status here as well, and it takes you right here and lets you know what's going on with it. I'm going to go back into manage return, show all, and all the information we clicked on before is showing up here now. Here's our year of birth, filing status, return status, all the information's there for us. If you want to hide your client list at the top left, here's this info right here. If you have anybody who's paying attention to your computer and you want to hide the returns, you can do that real quick. So that in itself, ladies and gentlemen, that's the conclusion to our Keep It Simple online program. I'm going to open up the floor here so we can take some questions. We can look at some stuff and see if anybody else has anything that you may have a question about. So here we go. So if anybody has a question, please go ahead and let's ask it now so we can go over and cover anything we got.
Well, I got a quick question.
Yes, go ahead.
Well, is it a way you can give me an example of a Schedule C return? Could you actually do a Schedule C return?
Okay, go through a Schedule C?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and go back in. I'm going to hit Edit inside of our return. And it's just going to tell us that we have two different views. I'm going to do a Save and Continue. You can mark that as no. And I'm going to go back and do a Direct Input because that's what I've been showing. We'll do Save and Continue.
Now, this would be from the beginning. It's a brand new client, right?
Yes, it's basically like a brand new one. I don't believe I have too much information on this one.
Okay.
So I'm going to go up here to the form. I'm going to do C, the Schedule C. I'm going to go ahead and do Add New at the top. This will show you that it's for whose income, the primary. You can actually, so the program itself will make the auto-determination of what type of schedule, just like it makes the auto-determination on what type of 1040 it is. So if you want to force it to a long Schedule C, you can do that here. I'll go ahead and just do it for training purposes. Okay, so the business is, let's say, Nick's Tile. Service. You can pick from a list of your business codes. I'll just choose any one of them here. Cash. Yeah, sure. Watermark that. Gross receipts. Okay. So here's our income section.
Mm-hmm.
There's the minister stuff here. I don't know if anybody does those. I have a couple customers who do. The minister information's here.
For ministers, you click there. Okay.
And on the W-2, we can either you can go straight from that W-2 line to push this information over to that schedule. I'm sorry, that schedule. And then if we go, let me close this out. We go back to the schedule. Oh, let me go back here. Sorry. So if we go back into our schedule, you can put those lines from that or this 1099. So let's just do a 1099, make sure I go through that here. So we'll do Add New. So if we did, see, other income, 3,000 from that, and then from line, excuse me, from line 3, other income, you can push down here what line 3 is going to. If you do the pick list, you'll see here's our next tile. Use it on that one. So it'll go to Schedule C. We'll do Save. And now when we go back to our schedule, you notice here's our net profit loss right here. Gross sales, profit loss there. So all that information pulls straight from over there as well. Any of the other expenses or information is going to be listed in here as well, depreciation and all that good stuff.
They don't have no form. Or like the one we're going to do.
So once you do save, it'll calculate. And it'll make sure the auto determination of which one it is. Right now I put force, but if we were to edit it, uncheck that, you'll see that it'll just come in as a regular easy. Yep, there, so just easy. And then it shows you the notes. And that's one thing, guys, to pay attention to. The notes at the bottom will always help you. So it has, you've entered a 1099 miscellaneous and selected said receipt report income. It's always going to let you know Schedule C must be entered so the amounts can properly carry to that form.
Right.
So it just wants to be sure that everybody knows, okay, make sure 1099 is good, all that information up top. And then once you hit verify, it'll actually go through the list of those for you and make sure that you have those filled out and all that's done on the schedule. Now this one, of course, it shows us 88.67 and then 89.65. I'm going to go ahead and close that as return. Is there any other questions or anything else anybody wants me to review, go through, anything like that? And thanks for your question, by the way, Mr. Lido. I appreciate you.
No problem. You're very welcome.
Is there anybody who has any questions, anything they want us to look at?
How can we
I'd
do
be more
that?
than happy to show.
How can we do that?
All right. I'm going to go ahead and end the stuff here. Just real quick, if anybody has any questions or anything like that more that you guys want to go over one-on-one, please feel free to give me a call here at the office, 281-833-9300. Option 2 is for support, and you can always ask for Nick if you have any kind of strange questions or anything like that.
Hey, Nick, one other question about the banking information. Will it integrate with this system?
Yes, correct. So once you've gone to the client payment, I know that we're getting everything fixed and finished for you, but once you go to add new invoice and you go down to the, let me go here. Oh, you don't have to have this one. It's complete. It'll be a banking option at the bottom. And as soon as I see it, I'll give you a call, Mr. Liddell, and we'll go over that together.
Okay, great.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, everyone. If you need anything else, please feel free to give us a call, and we'll be more than happy to help you guys. Cheers, and have a great tax season. If anybody needs us, just give us a call, 281-833-9300. Have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.